Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is Monday, March 19th, 2018. Hope everyone is having a good morning and a good start to their work week. I wanted to take a couple of minutes. I've decided that what I'm going to do when someone provides me with what they think is die-hard proof of either the accounts of TDA accounts existing or A4V being a real process that works, or anything of that sort, I'm simply going to make a short video about it, put it up on my channel so that others can actually take a look at it as I'm going into other subjects. This way people will have the opportunity, in case they run across it, to decide for themselves what it is that they believe. Now, as you know, on my channel, there are numerous videos that state why it is that these things are scams, how they came about. Just last night I put a video up with regards to Roger Elvick, and one of our commenters had broke down the summary of what Roger Elvick decided to do. He actually made the entire redemption scheme up back in the early 80s. He went to prison for it 3 different times, and his agenda did not work out. His original agenda was to attempt to try to get as many African Americans arrested for performing A4V transactions through the IRS, to attempt to try to get them to have their families and friends that were outraged of them being arrested rise up and start a civil war. That was his main agenda. Roger Elvick is the one who came up with the redemption theory. He is the one that actually conjured all this up in his mind. So, just so that you guys understand, no matter what kind of proof that you provide, there's always going to be a reason. We're always going to be able to locate and find a reason. And it's a misunderstanding if you believe it on your behalf as to why it's happening, because either you don't understand the way that the economics works, or you don't understand the way that the technology around finance and economics works, such as in ACH transactions, telecheck guarantees, and those sorts of things. But without further ado, let me go ahead and go over this with you quickly. So we have this comment that was actually forwarded to me by a person, or a user named Trip Odura. He states, Office of Inspector General is lying his ass off. Here is the proof in the following video, and then he links the video. Now, anytime you send a video through someone's comments, it attaches itself to the spam folder. So if you guys are sending comments, most of the time they're going to end up in a spam folder in the event that you have a link. It matters not whether it's a YouTube link or a link outside of YouTube. So just so that you guys are aware of it, it may take a while for people to actually get to it and answer you. I happen to notice this right off the bat. He posted this 3 hours ago, so I want to go ahead and get it out of the way, so that there's no confusion for anybody, because I do try to list as many comments as possible, regardless of whether they have links or not, provided that they are not abusive. Okay, this happened to show up on my original Accepted for Value video, which was done back in October. It actually explains the process of what is being explained by Accepted for Value by the gurus, and it explains the reason why that process couldn't possibly work. But outside of that, let's go ahead and take off to this video, and let's see what it is that Tripadura believes could possibly be used as proof for A4V. Okay, and here we are over at that link. You're going to notice that the video is entitled Car Paid in Full by Promissory Note. The individual who has this on their channel, and I will link that below to the description, is named Free Inhabitant. It was published December 16th of 2015, so a couple of years ago. All right, this is what this person is using as proof for A4V process. I find this extremely interesting because it appears to me that the party who actually linked this in my comments is really stretching hard to attempt to try to find some form of proof that A4V works, because quite honestly, folks, there just simply isn't any. And the reason there isn't any is because A4V process doesn't work. It isn't a real thing. regardless, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and play this in small snippets, as you are allowed to do, based on the fact that you are allowed to use fair use of the Copyright Infringement Act, in order to provide an overview of something that you are criticizing or that you are highlighting. So we're going to use that fair use right now in order to show you guys that what is being claimed here absolutely is not a possibility. I'm going to go ahead and start this now. Take a listen.
All you non-believers who didn't believe that a car can't be paid in full by promissory note, here it is. It is what it is. Read it for yourself.
Okay, let's read it for ourselves. Aside from the fact that the person who's actually doing this video seems to be quite smug right off the bat, let's just take a look at what it is that's being presented here without even going into the main paragraph of the letter. First of all, we have State Farm, which is not a finance company, but rather an insurance company for automobile insurance, home insurance, so on and so forth. So as you can see up here, it even says in the letterhead, providing insurance and financial services, home office in Bloomington, Illinois. Okay, so the claim service is part of the financial service. The insurance service would be automobile insurance on this particular claim. And yes, folks, it is a claim because even though it's blacked out, it had a claim number. But let's really take a close look here. All right, State Farm Insurance from Atlanta, Georgia, is forwarding a letter to Capital One in Monterey Park. Now, Capital One, located in Monterey Park, the auto finance group, Capital One. So we are dealing with an actual vehicle here with a claim number, and we are dealing with a 2012 Nissan Sentra SR. Now, what he's claiming is that he processed an A4V in order to get this payoff letter. First of all, when you do a process as is stated by the gurus with regards to an A4V, that information gets sent off to the IRS. The IRS then is the one who's actually would be responsible for supposedly paying the debt off. So explain to me why it would be that IRS would be paying off State Farm. Let's take a listen.
All the ones who want to talk smack. Here it is, right here. Enclosed is our full payment for payoff acknowledgement in the amount of $10,161.48.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read this for him. I don't want to go too far into the video. I don't want to broach his copyright the copyright laws, but I'm going to go ahead and read this. Enclosed is our full payment for payoff acknowledgement in the amount of $10,161.48, representing the total settlement amount agreed upon in the letter of guarantee or promissory note you provided to us. Now, let's remember that this letter is going to Capital One. Who would have provided the promissory note to them? The promissory note would have been provided by Capital One because they were the #1 lien holders. That promissory note has to be provided to an insurance company where a vehicle is either stolen or a vehicle has been totaled, because once they pay off the actual debt through the insurance process, the tin and the metal within that vehicle now belongs to the insurance company. They take that tin if it's a totaled vehicle, and they sell it back off, and they make whatever they can off of the scrap materials. If it is a stolen vehicle, then obviously that would not be the case unless the vehicle is recovered and turned back over. But now, since they have paid it, the promissory note, the lien is gone, and the promissory note and title now promissory note rather, now belong to the insurance company. So the title will be forwarded and released to the customer. All right, not the insurance company. I misspoke there for a moment. It is the promissory note that is turned over to the insurance company. All right, so it looks to me like this vehicle was stolen and not actually totaled out. And the reason for that is because this individual is receiving an actual title. So if the vehicle is stolen, then the insurance company is required to pay for it. And if they're covered in that manner, which clearly this person was, and that claim settlement goes to the actual first lien holder. The first lien holder on it is Capital One. Capital One forwarded this letter to the customer, letting the customer know that they had received payment. Here is a copy of what we got from the insurance company. The title is going to be forwarded within 10 days, which by law has to be done within 10 days. A copy is sent to State Farm in order to ensure that they can release the vehicle back out to the owner, because the person was insured, in order to make sure that in the event a vehicle is stolen or stolen mainly, that they can receive the vehicle back should that vehicle be located by cops and is still available to have anything done with it at all. In other words, what if it was carjacked, driven 3 miles, the cops found it and return it back to the customer, but they don't get it returned back to the customer for 30 days. Obviously, the insurance company is going to step in. That's what you have insurance for. That's comp and collision. And this simply is that. This is simply a claim. It is the notice of the insurance company, being State Farm, paying off Capital One so that the promissory note that Capital One holds as the lien on the vehicle is paid in full as promised by the contract between the customer and State Farm through their comp and collision insurance, and the customer is now going to be holding the title on that vehicle. So I'll let you listen to a few more minutes of this. The reason I'm going to do that is because I want to make a couple comments with regards to this actual guru and how smug and arrogant he is by believing that people are not going to notice that this comes directly from an insurance company. This is not coming from Capital One, who is the first lien holder. He seems to believe that he's going to try to make people think that, and that this is going to work somehow, that, A4V process works. He has an agenda that's very obvious. And for those of you that don't understand, that people lie in order to get money. People lie in order to get followers. People lie in order to try to deceive you so that this way, and this person clearly could care less. Okay, he obviously knows that this is from an insurance company and this is on an automobile loan, but he could clearly care less. These people would not make good con men if you didn't feel like they cared about you, if you didn't feel like they were being honest. If they were obviously not telling the truth, nobody would be listening to them. They wouldn't make good con men. So their very existence relies on the fact that you believe what they're saying. So let's listen to a few minutes.
Presenting the total settlement amount agreed upon in the letter of guarantee promissory note you provided to us. Encloses our payment of the amount $10,161.48, representing the payoff of the loan amount.
Okay, I want you to listen to the inflection in his voice. And I don't know whether you realize it or not. I'm sure many of you do. But he's talking to his own viewers. He's talking to the very people that he really wants to make believe, but yet he's speaking down to them. He's sitting there saying, pay off of the loan, you dummies. And that is what I was referring to with regards to speaking, these gurus speaking down to their commenters, speaking down down to their viewers as though you are an idiot. You know, and in reality, they make themselves look really bad to the people that have critical thinking skills, but people who are very, very young and maybe have never been in this scenario before just think that they're talking to other people that are being naysayers and so on and so forth. But the truth is that this is a regular pattern for these gurus. They actually do a lot of talking down to the very people who are propping them up. It's just really disgusting to me. We'll listen to a couple more minutes and then I'm going to close this out.
Title will be forwarded for the release to customer above, and copy will be sent to State Farm as requested, releasing the lien for this vehicle to the owner.
Okay, and as you can see, this just continues on in a stream of just really disrespectful, you know, you guys are idiots, type of thing. So I don't want to go any further with this. I find it to be absolutely nauseating that anybody would speak to another human being like this, regardless of what their ignorance level might be pertaining to the redemption scams. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is an absolute scam. This proves nothing having to do with an A4V promissory note process that has been explained to you. This is very simply a letter from an insurance company covering a stolen vehicle via the insurance that the customer has with State Farm, and making sure that the claims processor has made both the bank and the customer aware. That's all this is. It's nothing more. If you want to go ahead and watch the entire video yourself, the link will be in the description below this video. And to the person who actually left the comment, if the comment was left because you really actually believed this, I apologize, because I honestly don't know what your intention was for leaving the comment. So either direction that you go, this is null and void. It does not apply to promissory note A4V processes. It's absolutely no proof of anything except for that at one point or another, the person who received this letter had a vehicle that was stolen, and therefore the insurance company paid it off. That's all it means. All right. So anyway, I'll go ahead and continue to post these sorts of things because I get them all day long, every single day, of people attempting to try to prove these things exist when in reality they don't exist at all. And there's always an explanation that is rational and logical that explains these things, that if you really look at the clues within what is being provided to you as this so-called proof, you will find those things very, very easy. All right, you guys, take care.